It's a gamble that we're just going to have to take. We'll fire back up when the sun decides that it's summertime and make the best use of everybody that we free up.
We have no choice but to take this chance. When the sun says it's summer, we'll start up again, and we'll make the best use of the time we have free for everyone. The record books are no longer needed because of Parker Schnabel. It's not a few thousand ounces of gold. It's been estimated that this finding is so important that it's worth an incredible $80 million. This isn't just another good season for the star of Gold Rush. This prize could change your life. It was found in a place that no one dared to touch. Everything else is just a small matter when you have good ground. I'm going to mine where the ground is good. But to get there, he had to risk everything he owned, push his crew to the limit, and find a secret that had been locked away for a very long time. Alaska's secret gold stream. Parker Schnabel stood on the edge of a frozen chasm and stared at an area of Alaskan wilderness that had sucked up the hopes and dreams of many miners before him. It wasn't just another claim, a place that was only talked about in bars in the Yukon. It was a story. It was a collapsing frozen mine shaft called the Widow's Cut. The ground was said to hold a fortune, but it was also seen as a deadly trap. It was crazy to even think about mining here. It was crazy to bet your whole business on it. However, Parker did that very thing. $15 million of his own money was put on the table. A huge amount of money that would wipe him out 10 times over if he was wrong. Just been an incredibly pricey spring. We've already spent more this season than any other, and it's not even mid-season yet. What no one tells you about gold digging is that it's not so much about swinging a pickaxe as it is about playing high-stakes geological chess. Parker was able to make this scary bet because he had a secret tool, an ace up his sleeve. A group of geologists were hired by him to do a secret study using LAR technology, which used lasers to basically see through the earth. The info that came back was very exciting. It pointed to something that shouldn't be there, a system of old, prehistoric waterfalls buried deep in the permafrost. The model said that there would be so much gold in the ground that it would be almost magical. An insane $80 million is what it's thought to be worth. Once every 100 years, something like this is found. This is a real family wealth. Hey bro, is that it? You have been picked. Look at that. What did you find? Wow. That's really strange. Can't believe it, right? When people see this, they won't believe it. It's like there's more. Look at that. It was just a ghost on a computer screen, though. There was still a lot of frozen dirt and rock on top of the gold. He had to start a war on two fronts to get it. He had to make the painful choice to split up his team, which made his resources dangerously spread out. As one team worked their current claim, they desperately tried to get enough gold to cover the operation's huge weekly costs. The second group, which was made up of his best soldiers, would go after the Widow's Cut, trying to thaw the impossible and get the famous prize. We have to finish a lot of work and deal with unreasonable demands from a boss who likes to set unreasonable expectations. There was a lot of pressure. The business used tens of thousands of dollars a day in fuel, which was enough to power a small town. It takes more than $500 an hour to run a single D11 bulldozer. The bills were adding up, the clock was running, and the Alaskan winter was ready to bury them all. He had just put all of his money on a place that had already broken stronger men. Though, technology and drive don't help if the ground fights back. Going to war with permafrost. A lot of people love watching gold weigh-ins on TV, but they don't show you the boring part that comes before. Parker's team at the old claim was facing a truth that broke their spirits. They were moving thousands of cubic yards of dirt an hour, which is like moving mountains. But they weren't getting paid. Things became more stressful. They thought that their boss had too high of standards for them, because he was losing all of his $80 million bet. The Widow's Cut team was in a deadly street fight with the permafrost at the same time. It's not just cold dirt. It is a solid frozen mass that is as tough as concrete. And it's the hardest thing about mining in Yukon. They had to thaw it before they could get to the treasure. That meant bringing in the monsters made of metal. They needed two important pieces of machinery, two giants that would decide their fate. First, there was the Sluifer, a trusty wash plant that was getting old. But Parker's custom-built multi-million-dollar wash plant, Big Red, was the real key to winning. It's a beast. It's over 150 feet long and can sort through hundreds of tons of pay dirt an hour, separating the gold from rocks and sand that aren't worth anything. Putting it together on the cold, unstable ground was a huge job in and of itself. The crew had to move the huge pieces into place with surgical accuracy using big excavators and heavy chains. It would only take one slip or wrong move for their machine to become a mess of bent metal. Things went wrong just as they got Big Red to run. A rush of big rocks blocked the system, making a loud shutter sound before a key screen inside the machine tore apart. The machine that did the operation's heart attack had one. The whole mine was quiet. The worst thing for a gold miner is having to wait. Thousands of dollars are stolen every hour by a stealthy person. I think you're kidding me. It always goes like this. They were losing more than just money because the machine was broken. They were actively losing it at a scary speed. The crew sped up and worked nonstop in the freezing cold to fix the harm. Their anger was bubbling over, and their hands were numb. Parker had a mechanical nightmare that could destroy his $80 million dream and leave him with a $15 million hole in the ground. But sometimes a breakdown can lead to a success that no one saw coming. They had more gold than they could bear. Big Red is finally better, and the engine is running again. Now was the time of truth. The beast was fed the first loads of gold from the famous Widow's Cut. The crew had seen nothing but empty rock and frozen mud for days. There was a huge drop in morale. Then something amazing took place. As the first concentrates were poured into the SLE box, a color showed up that stopped everyone in their tracks. Gold. Not just a few spots. It was used to paint the bottom of the box. The crew crowded around them, wide-eyed. They had seen good cleanouts before, but this one was unique. This was on a whole different level. The idea that it was worth $80 million was no longer just an idea. They could see and touch it, and it was right there in front of them. Over thousands of years, the old waterfall had been like a natural sluice box, collecting all the gold into one huge pile. It's a big deal, and everyone worked hard to make it happen. I just want to say thanks for all the work you've done. They took out ounces instead of grams. The first weigh-in was crazy. The second one was even bigger. They were getting paid so much that it was hard to understand. The crew's tiredness and anger went away, and the electric thrill of the hunt took their place. It was an important part of history. Parker's crazy bet was paying off in the most amazing way you can think of. It was hard to believe the numbers. They worked with more gold in 1 week than some mines do in a whole season. It kept coming, a never-ending stream of yellow metal pouring out of the frozen ground. Parker broke all of his own personal records. Then he broke all the records for the Klondike. He had found the pot of gold that every kid dreams of winning their whole life. He closed the mine's gates to keep nosy people from seeing what he called a generational fortune. When word got out about his find, it shocked everyone in the mining world. Parker Schnabel was no longer just a very smart young boy. He was the clear leader of the Klondike. But a find this big gets too much attention and leads to crazy guesses. For those who want to dispel myths about the gold rush, Parker's story is one of the biggest success stories ever. As soon as people heard that there would be an $80 million haul, they began to talk. There was a lot of talk about the same old fan idea online, makers of gold. This is the idea that the people who make the show secretly sprinkle gold flakes on the mine to make sure that the weigh-ins will be exciting for the cameras. This myth keeps going around after every popular reality show that mines for information. People can use this to make sense of fortunes that look too good to be true. Let's take a look at that. Is it possible that this whole amazing find was all part of a perfectly planned TV show? No one tells you that reality TV producers are very good at making drama by cutting talk short, bringing out conflicts, and building suspense. But it's almost impossible to fake a gold mine this big. The final number was 77,381. That's not true. This is great for the next few years. Putting thousands of ounces of gold into solid permafrost in secret, tricking a group of experienced miners, and making up the complicated geological information Parker used to find the spot would be an epic plot. Also, past cast members and experts in the field have said that the mining is real, even though the drama between people may be acted out for the cameras. There are real risks to the money. There really is gold, and there really is broken equipment. But if you don't believe that simple idea, you can think of a lot more interesting and crazy things that could happen. Let's look into this some more. Could it be that the $80 million number wasn't just a guess, but a well thought out move in a very important game of Klondike? This is where things get really crazy. There is some thought that the number was a plan leak. Announcing such a big find is like setting off a flare in a world where miners are always fighting over the best land. It could be a power move to scare competitors off of nearby claims, or to get the best crew members for future seasons who want to work for a sure winner. It might even be a way for him to greatly increase the value of his whole business so that he can sell it in the future. The land deal itself comes next. There are a lot of relationships and deals going on behind the scenes in Alaskan mining claims, but the show makes it look like a simple lease. There were talks between us about me buying him out, and I just signed a deal today. That's it? Yes. Another idea is that the $80 million price tag was the key to a deal that was a lot more complicated than what we saw. Did the landowner know about it? Was this number necessary to get huge loans from investors to pay for an even bigger growth? The truth is that land has a past. There are rumors that the Widow's Cut is linked to stories about a lost gold mine from the first gold rush. This mine showed up on old maps, but then disappeared. You have to wonder if Parker found it with more than just lie. He might have found an old notebook or a tip from someone else that told him exactly where to look. That brings us back to a more practical but still very interesting question. Do we know the whole story about the money? Sure, the $80 million in the ground is cool, But how much of that does Parker keep? In other words, the harsh, unforgiving math of gold digging is something that you don't see on TV. A huge part of that treasure is already gone before Parker even pays for a single drop of gas. The landowner can get as much as 15 to 20% in income from the stars. He needs to write someone a $16 million check for an $80 million fine. The number goes down right away. On top of that, there are the costs that are never shown on TV. Environmental rules say that miners have to fix up the land after they're done. Cleanup isn't all this is. It will cost many millions of dollars to change the shape of the earth and restore the environment as required by law. Making money is being lost in silence. On top of that, the business itself is always losing money. Thanks for finishing this. It's set up well. I like the plan. There will always be some problems to solve, but I like it so far. Several $100,000 worth of fuel for a fleet of huge machines that work nonstop. The huge salaries of a team of highly paid experts, and the returns to the investors who put money into his bet in the first place. Even after all the bills are paid, Parker's return is a very small part of that huge headline number. The story gets really interesting now. Doesn't it make you think? It seems like they make a lot of money quickly when you watch them pull it out of the ground. A shocking finding that changes everything at once. But does it really work that way? You don't have to play the real game in the mud and snow. A worksheet is used to play it. Could such a big find really stay a secret? Or is it possible that the most important thing that was found wasn't the gold itself, but how to deal with the dangerous people and the harsh financial reality that follows? The truth is that what we're seeing might be just the tip of the storm. A story that was carefully crafted so that the most interesting and difficult details are hidden deep, like the gold. But it leaves you with a question that could cause trouble. Does one person deserve the wealth that the earth has built up over millions of years? Just write your thoughts in the box below. Don't forget to follow and like this video to see more scary videos.